Welcome, everybody, to the NCAA Championship Preview Show. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster. Today, we're going to look at the national championship game on Monday night between two number one seeds, the Houston Cougars, who upset the Duke Blue Devils last night, and the Florida Gators, who took down the Auburn Tigers at the end of their battle. This is a game where, people always say defense wins championships. If that's true, Houston should win this game. Right now, Florida is favored by 1.5 points. And we look at last night's game between Houston and Duke. The thing that really surprised me more than anything would be the fact that we knew Houston could rebound, but Duke is a lot longer, a lot more athletic, maybe. And you really kind of expected Duke to be able to hold their own on the boards. But what happened in this game was Houston out rebounded them 42-31. And free throw percentage, both teams shot about 78%. But in the end of the game, Duke fell apart at the free throw line. Houston went ahead and won this game there. Houston also made three more threes. They hit 10 out of 22, 7 out of 17 for Duke. But this is a game that is kind of unexplainable. A 14-point lead for Duke with 8 minutes left, a 9-point lead with 3 minutes left, a 6-point lead with 34 seconds left. So I think a lot of this could be contributed to Duke's youth. But the main issue here was Duke's backcourt. Their forward duo, Knipple and Flagg, played outstanding, but the guards for Duke just didn't get it done yesterday. I mean, Tyrese Proctor, 7 points, Sion James, 7 points. You're not going to beat Houston like that. Now, on the other side for Houston, LJ Cryer was outstanding. Of course, he's already got a national championship ring. He won one with Baylor as a backup early on in his career, but he scored 26 last night. And Emmanuel Sharp, his backcourt mate, scored 16 points. Now, that backcourt is going to be challenged against the Florida Gators. When we look at the Florida Gators in their game, Florida shot the ball at a 47% clip, shot 38%, making 8 3-point shots, but they out-rebounded Auburn 39-30. Now, Florida is a lot more battle-tested than what Duke was also. But the thing that stands out to me on the stat sheet from yesterday is Florida turned the ball over 16 times. That's against an Auburn defense that is good, but they're nowhere near on the level of the Houston Cougars. So that has to cause you some concern if you're a Florida Gator fan or just a bettor that wants to bet the Gators at -1.5. Now, Alex Condon only scored 1 point. He's going to have to play better than that. But Walter Clayton, Elijah Martin, Will Richard, I mean, they played outstanding. They combined for 58 of Florida's 79 points. And Clayton is an absolute beast. He was 11 for 18 from the field, 5 for 8 for 3-point range. But if any team can defend them, it would be this Houston Cougars team. Their backcourt of Sharp and Cryer defensively are as good as anybody in college basketball. They switch, they rotate, they go over screens when they're supposed to. They're very good anticipatory on defense. So this is a game where if you looked at it on the stats, maybe you would lean towards Florida. I'm not so much sure here. And I haven't made my bet yet. But if I am, I'm going to bet it on BetMGM. But I'm trying to figure this out while talking to you guys. Now, the Cougars get away with their overall lack of strength by being one step quicker, one step smarter, and more aggressive than every team they played. They out-rebounded the Duke team that piled up stats against the weak ACC. Now, Florida has that same Houston nastiness now. That's something Houston hasn't seen that much this season. Kelvin Sampson's done an outstanding job with this Cougars team. Now, the thing about Houston is they survive. This team is survivors. They come back. They always find a way to win. They're the number one scoring defense. They were all over the Blue Devils stars over the last 8 minutes of that game. It didn't let the guards get to the rim. It didn't let the guards do anything. It broke up almost all the inside plays to the 7'2" Malik. He hit just one of 2 shots before the alley-oops, and the alley-oops, they were ineffective. I think they hit one of them at about 3 or 4 attempts. The other thing about Houston is when I look at a game like this, what I'm looking for is which team is better defensively. No doubt that's Houston. Which team will shoot free throws in the clutch better? I think that's kind of both. But after what I saw last night, I would almost lean to Houston there also. Who has better guard play? These two teams probably have the best guard combinations in the country. That's almost a push. Walter Clayton is special, but so is LJ Cryer. So what it comes down to here is I think you see the reason why the point spread is a point and a half. This game is almost a complete toss up. But I can tell you this, I'm not going to bet against this Houston Cougar team this year. Not anymore. They already got me yesterday and they got me in the Elite Eight. I've learned my lesson. I think the Houston Cougars, for the first time in 7 attempts, will become the national champions on Monday night. I think they'll beat the Florida Gators 72-71 in an absolute classic. And if you want to bet this game, go to BetMGM. BetMGM is the top sports book for betting on college basketball. You can click on the link in the description down below if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification on YouTube, and follow me, Mike Goodpaster, on X at Grueling Truth. All right, guys, for now, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been watching and listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.